about the knocking, which is actually due to random combustion of diesel or petrol. Then I've spoke about the quality of petrol in terms of their quality and knocking properties. Okay. Then I discussed about the rating of these petrol and diesel using the rating numbers. For petrol, it is octane number. For diesel, it is cetane number. Okay. Octane number is the rating given to petrol depending upon the percentage of isooctane present in that sample. Okay. In the comparative statement. Okay. Greater the octane rating, greater is the quality of the petrol. Next is a cetane rating given for diesel. There I discussed about the two compounds, 2-methyl naphthalene and hexadecane, N-hexadecane, giving the rating to the diesel. Okay. Greater the cetane number, greater is the anti-knocking properties of that fuel. Okay. Octane number and cetane number are generally asked 2 marks questions in your final exam and also in your mid exams. Okay. Now, why the petrol quality has to be rated to avoid knocking? Knocking is a rattling sound that is made by the internal combustion engines due to random burning of these fuels. In the case of petrol, it is pre-ignition. That means before I want to start the constant burning of the petrol, it takes faster burning option. Whereas in the case of diesel, it is delayed ignition. Then I studied the chemical properties of these petrol and diesel components, what makes them less graded or what causes knocking in them. So when I'm doing the chemical analysis or structure of the molecules which contribute to knocking, okay, then it is analyzed that if petrol is having more straight chain hydrocarbons, then it shows more knocking properties. Okay, so N-hexane gives 100% knocking. That means its octane rating is 0 because it is an aliphatic compound. What will happen if the petrol contains more aliphatic compounds? Faster burning, pre-ignition. Okay. Now, if I talk about the combustion of the fuel, then in the case of petrol, straight chain hydrocarbons contribute to more knocking than branched, than olefins, than the aromatic compounds. That's the order. So knocking is high when the petrol has more straight chain hydrocarbons than the aromatic hydrocarbons. It is exactly the reverse in the case of diesel. Why? Diesel fuel suffers ignition delay. That means it will never start burning that very easily. So if diesel contains more straight chain hydrocarbons, it helps in better combustion. So exact reverse order is applicable to diesel fuel. Okay, that means what? When I'm using diesel as a fuel, diesel, if it contains more straight chain hydrocarbons, then the knocking is less. Okay, so knocking is less when the straight chain hydrocarbons are more or followed by branched chain or the olefinic compounds or the aromatic compounds. Aromatic compounds do lot of ignition delay and hence their presence is not favorable in a sample of diesel. Okay. After understanding the chemical structure which contribute to knocking properties, obviously my action would be to do a corrective action. So I'll start adding various compounds to the fuel in order to make it less knocking. Okay. For petrol, to show less knocking properties, okay, I'll use different types of additives. Depending upon the type of additives that are being used, petrol is either leaded petrol or unleaded petrol. This is a common terminology even we see when we are going to our filling stations. Okay, whether a little unleaded petrol is little more expensive, but then realize when you are using unleaded petrol, though it is little expensive, still the maintenance of the vehicle will be less. Okay, why? We'll discuss. So when petrol is added with additives like tetraethyl lead, what's the formula for tetraethyl lead? C2H5 taken 4 times Pb. Okay, then the oxidation of petrol will be minimized. What will happen when random combustion by chance is taking place? This tetraethyl lead will form corresponding oxides, okay, and peroxides, and will not allow fast combination of the fuel molecules. Okay, generally free radical combustion takes place in many of the cases, and what will happen? These molecules randomly undergo combination. It will suppress that. Okay, but what will happen when tetraethyl lead is used as an additive? The byproduct that is formed is lead oxide, PbO2, which is coming out of the fuel exhaust, and it is very harmful to the environment, particularly to the lungs of the human beings. So I don't want lead oxide to come out. Okay, so earlier what they have done, they've started using catalytic converters, which is not there in your syllabus, to trap the lead oxide. But nowadays what they are doing is they are just adding ethylene bromide to it. Okay, so tetraethyl lead with small amount of ethylene bromide is doing the activity comfortably. How? Ethylene bromide converts lead oxide to lead bromide, actually, which is less harmful as compared to lead oxide. Okay, that's the only idea. But still, any leaded compounds coming into the air is always hazardous to health. That's the reason why, hope you know, in Delhi and all, they are not allowing the normal petrol engines at all. They are using CNG vehicles only to avoid this health issues. Okay, lot of pollution there at Delhi. So is the discussion. So how much TEL has to be added? Usually 0.5 ml per liter for aviation industry, or 1 to 1.5 ml per liter for normal or automobiles, whatever we are using. Okay, the petrol is called as leaded petrol. Okay, sometimes even diethyl tellurium is also used for the improving the anti-knocking properties of petrol. Okay, that's about the leaded petrol. తెలిసింది కదా, lead tetraethyl lead యాడ్ చేసి నాకింగ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ని మినిమైజ్ చేసేది leaded petrol. leaded petrol లో ఏముంటుంది? tetraethyl lead ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, ఎంత యాడ్ చేస్తారు? 0.5 ml per liter for aviation industry, 1 to 1.5 ml per liter for మన ఆటోమొబైల్స్. సరే, టెట్రాయిథైల్ లెడ్ ని వాడినప్పుడు అడిటివ్ కింద లెడ్ ఆక్సైడ్ కాంపౌండ్ ఫామ్ అవుతుంది. లెడ్ ఆక్సైడ్ చాలా హార్మ్ఫుల్ కాబట్టి ఏం చేస్తాను? ఎథిలీన్ బ్రోమైడ్ ని కూడా యాడ్ చేస్తాను. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? లెడ్ ఆక్సైడ్ ఫామ్ అయింది, లెడ్ బ్రోమైడ్ కింద ఫామ్ అవుతుంది. అది కూడా ఫ్యూయల్ ఎగ్జాస్ట్ నుంచి వస్తుంది. లెడ్ చాలా డేంజరస్ హెల్త్ కి, ఎనీ స్మాల్ అమౌంట్ ఆల్సో, బట్ స్టిల్ నాట్ యాజ్ డేంజరస్ యాజ్ లెడ్ ఆక్సైడ్. కాబట్టి అది యాడ్ చేసి దానిని పెట్రోల్ లో జనరల్ గా యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఆ పెట్రోల్ ని లెడెడ్ పెట్రోల్ అంటారు. అది అప్పుడప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తామంటే లెడ్ కన్నా టెల్యూరియం ఏదో కొంచెం అన్నట్టుగా ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఏం చేస్తారు? డైఈథైల్ టెల్యూరియం ని యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు ఈ మధ్యన. సరే, ఇదంతా ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఆ ప్రీ ఇగ్నిషన్ ని ర్యాండమ్ కంబస్షన్ ని మినిమైజ్ చేస్తుంది. అప్పుడు నాకింగ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ తగ్గుతాయి, అంటే యాంటీ నాకింగ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ పెరుగుతాయి. అది సంగతి. So okay, when I don't want to use any more lead, okay, then I'll add additives which contain high octane content. Okay, and the petrol is called as unleaded petrol. Compounds like isopentene, isooctane, ethyl benzene, isopropyl benzene, methyl tertiary butyl ether. This is a fantastic additive that is generally opted for. So have to put it as a highlight one. Methyl tertiary butyl ether is a fantastic additive to petrol for improving the anti-knocking properties. The peroxide bonds that are formed during the minimization of the random combustion actually does a lot of beneficial activity in terms of minimizing the knocking properties and also the byproducts that are formed in the process. Okay, all these are the additives with respect to that of petrol. Okay, now hope you have written this. No, please do write down. I'll give 1 minute time, 2 minutes time. So for diesel, additives that generally include will be ethyl nitrate, isoamyl nitrate, peroxides. Acetone peroxide is the one commonly used, out of which hexamethylnonane is a fantastic additive, generally added to improve the ignition. Exactly opposite. Why? Because of ignition delay, this causes knocking. So for decreasing the ignition delay, I'll use these compounds. Nitrite compounds, peroxides kada, they quickly push off the fuel to burning. So these are commonly used. Even in rocket propellants and all, these are the fantastic additives that are added, which quickly release oxygen and improves the burning capability of the fuel. Okay, so that's about the additives that are being generally added. So improve the anti-knocking properties of a fuel stack. Okay, are you jotting it down? Okay, so I'm just shifting the board. Before that, do one small activity. Okay, next, this concludes the liquid fuels. Okay, this concludes the liquid fuels discussion. And now write the heading, gaseous fuels. Gaseous fuels. Out of which what you have in your syllabus is natural gas. Okay, CNG you have. So what are gaseous fuels? Fuels in the gaseous form. Very useful, very advantageous fuels. What you have in your syllabus is natural gas, which is again a conventional non-renewable energy source. Okay. In that, what is described here is compressed natural gas, CNG. Okay. CNG source is natural gas, which is compressed to very high pressure, almost to 1000 kVA at atmospheres. 80 atmospheres. Compressed to a very high pressure of 1000 atmospheres. Okay, that's the source of the natural gas being compressed to very high pressure. Actually, this is again a derived sort of a thing. Then the point you need to know is chemical composition. Chemical composition. Maximum it contains methane as the main source of main component is methane. Along with that, some amount of ethene is present, hydrogen is present. Okay, so methane is almost 70 to 90%. Okay, whereas ethene will be in a very small proportion, leading almost to, I should say, some 5 to 10%. And actually, I'd say very small composition of hydrogen. H2 is almost 3% or less than that. So, some miscellaneous amounts of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide are present. Negligible proportions of calcium, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, very small proportion. Okay, very small. Okay, that's the composition of the natural gas. Okay, compressed natural gas. Of course, it is natural gas only. Here at this point, I need to tell you all. The other day, we were watching the video, okay, and what did you realize? That the video described that, see, when once the oil is analyzed for its presence, okay, ekkada oil undo nenu analyze chesin tarvata, okay, it's all the work of geochemist people, okay. Then they start mining. And first thing what you have seen in the video, they'll make bores or rigs onto the sea or oceanic beds. Okay. The first thing that comes out as it is shown there is natural gas. Okay. So, natural gas is always associated with the crude oil or petroleum. Okay, what you will analyze here is the crude oil or petroleum is extracted from the oil wells. Okay, if the mining operation is being done and the crude oil is brought out, then the gas that got associated with it is called as wet natural gas. Whereas after putting everything in the refineries, and I am doing the preliminary activity, then the natural gas that gets associated with it is called as dry natural gas. That I am avoiding because it is compressed natural gas that is present in the syllabus. ఏం చేస్తున్నాను ఆయిల్ రిగ్స్ మీద ఉంటుంది కదా, అప్పుడు ఎప్పుడైతే ఫస్ట్ నువ్వు రిగ్ వేసావో నీకు వెంటనే పెట్రోలియం రాదు, ఫస్ట్ న్యాచురల్ గ్యాస్ ట్యాప్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది మొత్తం. సో ఆ న్యాచురల్ గ్యాస్ ట్యాప్ చేసేది ఏదైతే వస్తుందో అది వెట్ న్యాచురల్ గ్యాస్ అంటారు, ఎందుకంటే అది మైనింగ్ చేస్తున్నాను కదా అక్కడ ఆపరేషన్ లో. అలా కాకుండా జస్ట్ పెట్రోలియం నుంచి అసోసియేట్ అయి ఉన్న న్యాచురల్ గ్యాస్ ని డ్రై న్యాచురల్ గ్యాస్ అంటారు. ఓకే, సో క్రూడ్ ఆయిల్ తో ఉన్నదేమో వెట్, పెట్రోలియం తో ఉన్నది డ్రై న్యాచురల్ గ్యాస్. సరే, ఇవంతా దాని మైనింగ్, దాని గురించి మరీ ఎక్కువ లేదు కాబట్టి ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు కంక్లూడ్, నాట్ బి ఫస్లీ అబౌట్ ఇట్. ఓకే, అండ్ the calorific value, these are the headings which you need to memorize for your exam. Okay, so what is the calorific value of this fuel? Around 12,000 to 14,000 kilocalories per meal. Okay, 12,000 to 14,000 kilocalories per meter. Because it is gas, it is meter cube. If it is a liquid or a solid, per kg. Okay, that's the calorific value of the fuel. Okay, and the next one you need to know here is all only know-how. That's it. There's nothing much to analyze. It's the data compilation for your know-how. Okay, so what are the uses? It can be used for both domestic and industrial applications. Okay, what is the use of this natural gas? actually the oxidation of this natural gas is controllable, just like our gas stove. Okay, I can control the oxidation process or combustion process. That's the first utility with respect to any of the gaseous fuels. That means controlled oxidation is done. Added to that. Now, in the case of natural gas, what is the most beautiful thing is it does not pollute much the environment. Okay, that's the main utility of this natural gas. It contains very less amount of sulfur compounds. Okay, and hence it is environmentally safe and also it is safe for the IC engines. Okay, next, it does not also contribute to much oxides which are greenhouse gas. Okay, the pollution with respect to this compressed natural gas is very, very minimal, and hence these are the advantages. Actually, uses and they used in domestic and industries as fuel. Okay, so what is the advantage? The combustion can be regulated. Combustion can be regulated and very less pollution. And very less pollution are the main advantages using CNG. And hence, it is almost made it mandatory to use this fuel in various metros. Okay. Okay. Right. The next heading. The next heading is LPG. Let me take one snap. And go ahead. Okay. I have a question to ask. Is a detailed explanation like this is boring to all of you, or shall I just explain it just like that? But these are the topics which are to be explained like this only. And the last one, of course, from the next class, it is almost, will be focusing on the numeracy. Okay, so next heading is LPG. What's the full form of LPG? What's the full form of LPG? Hello? At least those who are present can answer.
Liquefied petroleum gas.
Yes, liquefied petroleum gas. What's the application? What's the application? Major application is a domestic fuel, particularly in our country. Okay? So, again, did I ever tell you about the LPG during our sessions? చెప్పానా ఎల్పిజి అనే గ్యాస్ ఏదైనా ఉంటుందని చెప్పి what is the component that comes out of the fractional distillation without condensing? Hello, are you listening? What is that component that comes out of the fractionating tower during the fractional distillation uncondensed? Is this LPG? They formed uncondensed gas. Okay, so the next heading is LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Liquefied petroleum gas. Hello, I have a small question to ask you. Are your second mid exams online or offline? Huh? Any message?
As per circular, it's online, ma'am, but we have no info.
They are saying it could be offline because from first they want the schools and colleges to be open. If it is offline exam, then it is you are in danger. Many of your other friends who are very regular and are master.
We want to inform before only, ma'am, because some of the members are in village, ma'am.
Village lo unte
అంటే రావాలంటే 3 days లైన్ ఉంది కదా మ్యామ్, మళ్ళీ ఇంటికాడ అంటే సిటీలో చూసుకోవాలి కదా మ్యామ్.
ఎందుకే లాస్ట్ మేము చూసారు కదా హాస్టల్స్ లో జాయిన్ అవ్వడం.
అంటే అందుకే అదే మ్యామ్, హాస్టల్లో జాయిన్ కావాలంటే ముందు ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయాలి కదా మ్యామ్.
అలా అంటావా?
అవును మ్యామ్.
ఎలా అయితే 6 నుంచి అయితే ఉండొచ్చు, మరి చూడండి.
అది ఉంటది కానీ మ్యామ్, మిడ్ అయితే మాక్సిమం ఆన్లైన్ కదా. మిడ్ అయితే మాక్సిమం ఆన్లైన్ కదా మ్యామ్.
ఎగ్జామ్ ఆన్లైన్ లేదా మళ్ళీ డౌట్ పెట్టారు ఒకటి, సరే చూద్దాం. ఓకే, ఇట్స్ ఆల్సో కాల్డ్ యాజ్ రిఫైనరీ గ్యాస్ ఆర్ బాటిల్ గ్యాస్. ఓకే, refinery or bottled gas is are the other names of this LPG. Okay, and how it is obtained? What is the source? Just now I told with you. One of the source is the fractional distillation of crude oil or petroleum. Sometimes natural gas also is the source for this LPG. Okay, so what are the sources? First source is fractional distillation of crude oil. Fractional distillation of crude oil is one of the main one. Also, you will get this from cracking of heavy or medium oils. Okay, and other component is from natural gas. Or the sources of this particular fuel. Okay, are the sources of this particular fuel. Okay, next, the chemical composition. Usually it contains N-butane, isobutane, and butylene, propane, etc. Chemical composition. N-butane, it is less, it is more. Isobutane, butylene, propane, and propene are also sometimes present. But isobutene and butylene are the main components. About the chemical composition. Very high calorific value. Okay, very high calorific value of 27,800 kilocalories per meter cube. Very, very excellent fuel. Okay, calorific value. Okay, if you're talking about the calorific value of this fuel, almost twice or thrice of that of CNG. Okay, 27,800 kilocalories per meter cube is the calorific value of this fuel. Very high calorific value, which makes it excellent fuel. Okay, burning obviously can also be regulated. Okay, and such a fantastic fuel, like in our houses, we are domestic fuel, no problem with this burning of this fuel. No hazardous byproducts. Complete conversion efficiency is nearly 99%. Okay, that means there is no fuel wastage, there is no ash or undesirable products that are present in the fuel, which decreases its calorific value. It's a very, very supposed to be a benign fuel for any application. Okay, so that's what we would say. So then, what are the uses? It is used as both domestic and industrial fuel. Okay, uses domestic or industrial fuel. Domestic or industrial fuel. That's a important one. Okay. What are the advantages? Advantages. Very high fuel efficiency. Very high fuel efficiency. Very high fuel efficiency. Byproducts form are environmentally safe. That's one. That is the oxides of sulfur, nitrogen, or whatever that are formed or safe. Okay. The last but not the least. Now, do you smell a special type of a special fragrance comes? Smell comes when there is gas leak. Correct? At our houses. Correct? Now, what is that smell due to? You have any idea? So, ethane thiol. Ethane thiol. Ethane is C2H5. Thiol means SH. Alcohol is OH. Thiol is SH. This is the additive used for detecting LPG leaks. That is added to LPG to detect leaks. Okay, and hence is the discussion. This concludes my discussion about the gaseous fuels. Okay, so let me move on to the next topic. So have a small query now. See, here I can start with the biodiesel, which actually is a part of 5th chapter. What is left over in this chapter is the combustion and air quantities. Very, very important. concepts and numericals. Compulsory questions in mid and final exams. No option. You will have a numerical on the air quantities compulsorily or combustion. That's the importance of the topic that is pending actually. So, seeing the class strength 18, I am not encouraging myself much to start with that important topic. But I can conclude the biodiesel topic in probably today and tomorrow just for 10 minutes more if I take, I can conclude biodiesel. Actually, that used to be a part of this chapter only, but then slowly they have made it into another chapter, pushed that into another chapter. So shall I start biodiesel? Okay. Why? This 18 or 20 people in the class and a very important topic, mandatory questions should not be discussed. And that to an extra class, I'm not encouraging myself. Okay. So can you catch up, kids, if I start with biodiesel? 15 minutes lecture today and another 15 minutes lecture tomorrow will finish the biodiesel. I think your friends have presented already. Kirti and Hafsa, I think, presented biodiesel. Are they there in the class? Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you both presented biodiesel. So I think some part, how much time was your session? Some 15 to 20 minutes, is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope to record it if by chance if you would like to but only after going home because I didn't bring my laptop today. So if I record, I think that will be put in the group again. Already the PPT is there. So I want to introduce to biodiesel, okay? Because I'll introduce and conclude tomorrow because hardly another 10 minutes, 20 minutes time is there. This is also important, but not scary as that of the combustion because the combustion is a mandatory question. The concept or the numerical, any one is compulsory, mid and final. Such is the importance. So I'm a little hesitant taking it very less time. Okay. Hope you have put the heading biodiesel. Okay. Unlike the topics which we have studied till now, which are non-renewable conventional energy sources, biodiesel is renewable and non-conventional energy source. That's the first idea you need to get when you are looking at this topic. Okay. What is very important here is that you should always remember is that it is generally termed as alternate energy source. So it's generally termed as alternate energy source. Okay. That's a common name given because now it is slowly and very quickly it is replacing the diesel component. That means generally nowadays we are using blended fuels, okay, in which this biodiesel is one of the part. Still the technology, particularly in the case of automobile industry, is not very adaptive to use only biodiesel. Okay, So we are forced to use the blended compositions of this biodiesel. Okay, and hence the name alternate source of energy. Okay, so understood, fine. So can anyone, what is the definition of biodiesel? How can I define biodiesel? This definition you should know. Okay, definition. It is monoalkyl ester, monoalkyl esters of fatty acids, monoalkyl esters of fatty acids derived from vegetable or animal sources, vegetable or animal sources which conform to ASTM, American Standard Methods. Okay, G6751. Let me check. ASTM D675 standards. Okay, which conform to ASTM D6751 specifications. Specifications. That's the definition. Okay. So these are the oils or fats that I get from vegetables or animals, okay, and which show properties very similar to that of petrodiesel. Now, why I call this as diesel, for instance, okay, why not biopetrol? What is this stupid question? Whatever you want, you put your name. I need to read so much of syllabus. Could be the answer. No, but the point here is these oils or fats which I am getting from the plants or animals, okay, are showing the density just similar to that of the density of diesel, okay, and the boiling range is also very, very near to the diesel fractions, and also the chemical composition. That means there, because they are higher fatty acids, the carbon chain length would be more than C10. Okay, that means more than 10 carbons will be present in that particular oil or fat which is obtained from these sources. Because the chemical composition, the boiling range, the density and viscosity are very near to the diesel fraction of the fractional distillation, I call this as biodiesels, okay, obtained from the natural sources. Okay, that's the first thing which I need to know. Now, obviously, I'll solve it by regular discussion. So, what is the source of this biodiesel? Okay, it is vegetable and animal sources. So, vegetable oil. Okay, vegetable sources will be corn seeds. Okay, corn seeds, jatropha, జెట్రోబా ఏమంటారంటే మోతుగా చెట్టు అంటారు. Okay, so that's a very huge source of this biodiesel and very explored tree for the biodiesel component. Okay, apart from that, you have rapeseed oil. Okay, corn seeds, jetoba, rapeseed oils. Apart from that, you have cotton oil, castor oil, etc. Any oil. You will be surprised. Nowadays, biodiesel is obtained from the oils which are used for more than one time. It's a common thing. But when we fry some puris or bhajis at home, the oil, once it is burnt, it's not actually very good for health to be used again. Okay, what will happen? The oil starts slowly thickens. Okay, so what even they are suggesting is that give that oil, they'll give you money, and from that oil also they are generating this biodiesel. Okay, that is the beauty of this oil being used for various purposes. Okay, animal sources include generally cod oil, okay, some fish oil, etc. Okay, fats like the blubbers, they say it as blubbers from the sea, huge aquatic animals. Okay, like whales and sharks and all, they have lot of blubber on below their skin. Okay, why? When they are living in very cold waters, that oil sheet that is present below the skin makes them really adjustable to the environment. So if by chance they are getting wet, they are using for the generation. So this is about the source of the oil. Another 5 minutes time. Okay, so after discussing the source of the oil, I should say the composition. So what it is made of. So when it is obtained from the animal or plant sources, 90 to 98% is triglycerides. Okay, 90 to 98% it is made up of triglycerides of higher fatty acids. Triglycerides of higher fatty acids. Okay. Along with that, small quantities of phospholipids, phosphatides, actually small amounts of phospholipids, phosphatides, carotenes, free fatty acids, or monoalkyl esters are present. I'll put it as etc. Okay, and composition under that you write very viscous liquid. Very viscous liquids. Very viscous liquid. So I can't use that for my application or putting it as an oil into the engines. Do you know? Castor oil is very thick. Little more thicker than that would be the composition. You'll be surprised. Such is the viscosity of the oil that I extract from vegetable source or animal source. Okay. So, right. The next important word. Your next class is at 3:10. Is it not? Correct? ఏంటి 3:10 కా క్లాస్
ఎస్ మ్యామ్
మ్యాథ్స్ క్లాస్ సో ఒక చిన్న ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ చెప్తానమ్మా ఇక్కడ ఓకే అండ్ a very important definition which is a generally asked question in your exam. Transistor. Okay. So before I go ahead with the discussion, okay, one important thing which I would like to explain is because after understanding the composition of the animal oil or animal fats or vegetable oils, and we should know the structure of these things because that is the 90 to 98% composition of that biodiesel. Correct? So what is the structure of triglyceride? Okay. If you don't understand this, you will not understand about the transesterification, which is the named reaction for obtaining the biodiesel. So first instance, the structure of triglycerides is important. Okay. Now first to understand that how esters are formed, acids react with alcohols. In the presence of acids or bases as catalysts to form ester. Okay, to form ester. That's the first point. So what's the functional group that is present in acid COOH? What's the functional group that is present in alcohols? OH. And what's the functional group that is present in the ester? C double bond O R prime. Is the functional group. So these are the functional groups that are present in the compounds. Okay. Now what is the structure of the triglyceride? I'll stop the session after giving the structure of triglyceride. Please be patient. Okay. Now compounds containing one OH group is called as alcohol. Compounds which contain two OH groups in the same molecule are called glycerols. Compounds containing three OH groups in the same molecule are called glycols. Three OH groups are called as glycerols. So one OH, alcohol. Okay, two OH groups, they are called as glycols. Okay, whereas three OH groups in the same molecule, they are called as glycerols. I think now you can understand how many OH groups might be present in our oils that we get from plants or animals. Three OH. 1, 2, and okay, I'll finish with the structure. Now this is the structure of glycerol. Okay, and this is alcohol. Okay, now what is reacting with acids? Higher acids.
Screen.
Higher fatty acids.
Screen off ayin ma'am.
Okay, that fatty acid, higher fatty acid is carbon more than 10, 9, more than that, 11, like that. Okay, they are called higher fatty acids. And I'll give it a general formula RCOOH. Okay, acid reacts with alcohols to form ester. Okay, now it has formed ester. How? CH2O, C double bond O, R. Okay, C double bond O, R. Okay, and see, 3 such molecules will react to form the triglyceride. Okay, 3 such molecules will react to form triglyceride. Are you able to see the board? That's the structure of the triglyceride. Okay. Hello, good afternoon, Kiran. I'll start taking the attendance. Okay. Hope you understood. What is the structure of the triglycerides? Now, these triglycerides make the vegetable oil or animal fat very, very viscous or thick liquids. Okay, and hence can be used right away like that into the icing. Okay, whenever I take, I think the row numbers which are present. EC2 27/8 2021. Okay, 61 to between 61 to 70. How many are present? Between 61 to 70, how many are present? No, 61 to 70. No one is present.
66 present, ma'am.
Next.
69 present, ma'am.
69, 66 are present.
65 also.
64 is present.
Yes, ma'am.
65 is absent. 66 is present. 67, 68, 69 is present.
69 present, ma'am.
Okay, 70 is absent. Now, 71 to 80.
71 present, ma'am.
Okay, 72, 73, 74. 74 is absent. 75, 76, 77, 78, 79.